Dean Brummett has a stranglehold on this series with 3 wins and a point lead to his credit. However, the crowd grows closer. Reese Schaefer is only 3 points back. It's a quality race within the race that's on tap tonight. I am Emerson Arden, and my good friend and colleague Landon Cardulo is alongside myself in the virtual booth this evening. We're excited to be bringing you live coverage from the virtual Joliet, Illinois, here on VIRacing.com, motorsports simulations platform. And Landon, welcome back to the booth. This is the 4th mile and a half on the season. However, a lot of drivers, a lot of people in sim racing and in the sport in real life as well would say Chicagoland is a very, very unique track. Would you care to tell us more about this fantastic track?
Absolutely, Emerson. First and foremost, happy to be alongside you and have another opportunity to cover this outstanding series we call SRN. With that being said, again, we are at Chicagoland Speedway located in Joliet, Illinois. Such a beautiful city and state of Illinois. With the weird track shape looking like the letter D, Chicagoland brings us 18-degree bank turns with an 11-degree front straightaway and a 5-degree curved backstretch. Chicagoland is not your typical half-mile, 1.5-mile D-shaped tri-oval speedway. This monstrosity of a speedway sits on 930 acres of land, which is large enough to accommodate 42 United Centers, which, if you're a sports fan, that is home of the Chicago Bulls and Blackhawks. That is crazy. And 3 Soldier Fields, which is home of the Chicago Bears, can fit within the infield.
Some fantastic stuff there, Landon. And again, Chicagoland Speedway, it's a fun mile and a half, man. We've had the pleasure of already seeing a race here this week with the Fiverr truck guys yesterday. That was a fun race. I got a little bit of green flag racing, some great battles. And in the middle portion of the race, it got a little caution plagued, to be honest, but it was all in very hard and fun racing. Very much a great show that we had put on yesterday. With that being said, though, we are here on the 9th race of the regular season, Landon, and we're getting ever so closer to the playoffs. Crunch time is upon us. The drop weeks have not been factored in yet, but we do have points as of today. And there are the points on your screen, Landon. We'll take a look at it. Like I said at the top of the show, Dean Brummett, yes, he's got 3 wins on the season. Yes, he is locked into the playoffs. But the thing is, that regular season championship also gives you some bonus points, Landon. And right now, he only holds it by 3. So maybe an intriguing situation when we look at it here at the top of the standings. But then we go a little further down. Ryan Johnson, Balliet, they're separated by 1 point. But let's talk about this cut line here, Landon. You talk about really from Bobby Anderson down, really tightly packed. Right on the cut line, it's Albert Hewins is in, Devin Zimmerman is out. Zimmerman, considering all the bad luck he's had, Landon, to only be 7 points outside the cut line, that is also a pretty remarkable job from Devin. But just looking at this, Landon, that cut line, the playoffs looming, it just makes this get even closer and a little crazier.
Yeah, absolutely. And Emerson, if you're looking at it, Bobby Anderson sitting in the 12th spot, 217 points. And then you go down to, like you said, Albert Hewins or Devin Zimmerman. I mean, they are within reach. I mean, you got Tyler Michael sitting in 14th, 10 points within that spot of Bobby Anderson. And even looking at the top 5, Reese Schaefer being set about 3 points from Dean Brummett. But then you got Ryan Johnson, Joshua Balliet, and Brad Herman, again, all within. Well, we got Joshua Balliet and Ryan Johnson being 1 point from each other, and then Brad Herman being 10 points. So it's a close battle.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we're getting ready to do battle tonight here at Chicagoland. But of course, we've had a great season to this point so far. And like I said, Landon, at the top of the broadcast, Dean Brummett has now 3 wins on the season. Of course, that coming at Daytona at the start of the season. Then it was Las Vegas the next week, and then I believe it was Charlotte last time out. So Dean Brummett likes this style of racing, the mile and a halves and the packed up and chaotic racing. He really seems to excel at it. Why don't we go ahead and flash back to how Dean Brummett got his first win on the season? Well, here we go. There's a lap truck on the inside. That's Josh Mueller. With 2 laps to go, 5 miles to settle in. Mueller, who had a huge say in the ending of this race, he's now parking up in front of the tank trucks. Justin Michael, Dean Brummett, now lined up there in the middle of the racetrack. Herman with the run up high. A beautiful block from Justin Michael. And now trying to get to the outside. Michael continues to block Herman, and now 3 wide as Westwood jumps to the middle. We're coming around to 1 lap to go.
You want to throw a beautiful block? That's what you call a beautiful block. That was that's something that you don't see, and just the integrity of these drivers and how.
3 wide.
Oh, wow, that was a little too close. Justin Michael getting put in the middle and going backwards.
Dean Brummett to the inside. He's got the prime position now. 3 wide. Michael fighting the sucker hole. Westwood trying to make something happen on the high side. Dean Brummett leads. Austin Pernell and Bradley Brandon on the last lap here at Daytona.
If I'm JBR right now, I am sticking to that spot. I am not moving because you got 3 guys for JBR. Just 1, 2, and 3. Clear space. Not a worry in sight.
Off the final corner. Dean Brummett trying to bring it back home, and Dean Brummett is gonna win here at Daytona. Purnell and Brandon is a JBR top 3 as the field wrecks behind them. Massive wreck, trucks on their side, bumpers laying everywhere. And of course, yes, that is how Dean Brummett got it done at the Daytona International Speedway to kick off his back-to-back wins to start the season, and then of course the run that was to maintain that point lead. He missed the start and is still the point leader. He has 3 wins to his credit. Will anyone dethrone Dean Brummett as the king of these mountain has? I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. But Landon, I think now is the perfect time to transition down to the racetrack and look around the track. Reese Schaefer is currently top of the timing sheet. So pull it up there on the left side of your screen. Politis has just pulled it off the track. Cole Martin has just come across the line, and Cole Martin goes stop at the charts of 30.48 for Cole Martin in that number 51 machine.
And Cole Martin's a name that, you know, we've seen prior in the seasons of SRN, and he's raced a little bit this season so far. And, you know, we don't really expect much from Cole. I mean, we expect him to be up here, of course. But going back to what you're saying about, you know, Dean Brummett and, you know, his dominant season so far. I mean, he's kind of been in that position every single race that we've had. We had Daytona, he won. Charlotte, he won. You know, Darlington, going back to Darlington, I know he had that mishap coming into pit road, but he was one of the dominant cars like he has been week in and week out. So, I mean, I don't know, Emerson. Does anybody have anything for him? We see Reese Schaefer, you know, being dominant as he is. We got Joshua Balliet as well. Ryan Johnson also have wins. But I mean, looking at the qualifying charts right now, we got Logan Truitt sitting in 4th. We have Gabriel Ellison 6th, Lane Doyle in 7th. I mean, we might have somebody new today.
Absolutely. You look at it, Schaefer is still searching for his first win on the season, Lane, if you can believe that. And then Ellison, of course, he got that win at Kansas. Branson McCannon, he goes 15th quickest, and I believe will be the last driver to take time here at the Chicagoland Speedway. But Landon, again, we've seen plenty of these races, so we should not be surprised by anything that comes at us tonight. But we do have the opportunity now to get ready to do battle tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway here in virtual Joliet, Illinois. And our starting grid will be coming right at you here in just a moment. And so, here is how they will roll off for round number 9 at the Chicagoland Speedway. And of course, at the top of the charts, at the front of the field, it will be driver of the number 51 out of Aeons Motorsports, Cole Martin. Alongside of him will be that 17 machine of Reese Schaefer trying to dethrone Dean Brummett atop the standings. Speaking of Brummett, he'll start 3rd. That's as many wins as he has on the season, looking for number 4 tonight. Spot number 4 will be Logan Truitt. We find our way back to row number 3, Joshua Balliet, Gabriel Ellis, and a couple winners on the season. Row 4 will be Lane Doyle and Bradley Brandon. They're searching for their first wins on the season. Sean Jensick, Brian McAvoy, then the top 10. Landon?
Absolutely, Emerson. 11th, we got Bobby Anderson. We saw him in points. You know, right at that cut line, good starting spot for him on the 11th. 12th, Kyle Westwood. 13th, Brad Herman. Devin Zimmerman rebounding for a 14th place starting spot. That is huge for him. 15th, Branson McCannon. 16th, Michael Sturgill. 17th, we got Tyler Markle. 18th, Michael Politis. 19th, we got Ryan Johnson. 20th, Lane Hosler.
Running out the rest of the field, it is only 6 drivers. Doc Holliday then starts 21st. Kyle Vincent Gilbert will start 22nd. Mark Morton, Connor Cunningham, Byron McDonald, and Albert Hewins then. The 26 driver field getting ready to do battle tonight here, Landon, from the Chicagoland Speedway. And that's how they will roll off tonight. The drivers getting ready to do battle tonight. There they are off the grid. Landon, who do you like before we get going here at Chicagoland?
Oh man, Emerson, that's a hard question. There's a ton of people in this field that are just so strong. But if I'm gonna pick one, I'm most likely gonna pick Joshua Balliet. I mean, we've seen him week in, week out. He's been super strong. Picked up that win at Darlington, or yeah, actually no, he ran out of fuel, Darlington. Sorry,
but he was Sonoma.
Sonoma picked up that win at Sonoma, and then, you know, the way he knows how to play with the fuel strategy is definitely a top tier thing. So that's my pick for tonight.
I'm gonna have to go with another driver out of that tank stable. I think Reese Schaefer, he's got that point lead in sight. I think it's been too long since Reese Schaefer's last win in SRN. It's been too long. It was too long for Reese to get his first win in SRN. I say he picks up career win number 3 here tonight. But so here we go as the field approaches off of that final corner, that pit lane, all the way around the corner here at Chicagoland Speedway. VIRacing.com safety vehicle finds its safety in the pit lane, and we are racing from the Windy City. And 1 lap complete. It is Cole Martin, Dean Brumman atop the standings. Brumman already looking to the outside. He wants the lead. He wants that clean air early.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you see Cole Martin get a little loose coming off the corner, good save from him as Dean Brummett taking the top spot.
Oh, Devin Zimmerman in trouble behind. Devin Zimmerman off of turn number 2, and he is in the grass facing the wrong direction. No caution on the speedway yet. In that number 33 machine, he'll get rolling once again. Unfortunate. The worst luck for Devin Zimmerman, it actually is. Back up front, Dean Brummett and Reese Schaefer have both powered by that 51 of Cole Martin and Landon. Look who we got at the front again. The 2 drivers we talk about all season long.
Yeah, they just can't get away from each other. It is something else. And as you got Joshua Balliet in 4th, so I mean, all these 4 drivers just under a blanket.
You see Reese, he plays a little bit there, trying to get to the apron, to the inside of Dean. He's right now following in the tire tracks, and this is a hard point of the race, right? Early in the race, you can see the lead. You want to push it to get to that lead, but knowing the outlook of the series, Landon, you don't want to push too hard. You want to have some tires saved for later in the run.
Yeah, absolutely, Emerson. And coming into the series that we've seen, you know, we hardly have any cautions, and if we do, they're very stretched out. So saving your tires, especially at this track, with how bumpy it is and how worn out this track surface is, tires is definitely a thing here, and you want to make sure that you are on top of it. You don't want to, I mean, they change setups all the time, but you don't want to get loose going into a corner or even exiting the corner.
So off of turn number 4 here, kind of watching this battle a little further back in the field. This is riding Sean Jensig, Bradley Brandon. This is the battle for that 9th position. And Jensig trying to get clear that 35 machine. Jensig will clear up. And you can already look, right, the top two, they have already broken away from Cole Martin and the rest of the field. Then you really look at it here. Truex and Doyle going at it then for that 6th position.
Yeah, we got kind of a, gaggle of cars up here fighting for the, 6th through 10th spot. But going back to, Cole Martin, we saw him lose the lead there early on. And, Emerson, I think he's saving tires. I think Cole Martin's one of the drivers that we mentioned, very smart on the way he races, very fast. So definitely I think he's kind of another one to watch to see how the strategy plays out.
Gabriel Ellison flies by Joshua Balliet for 4th. And I believe you're right? But you also look at Dean Brummett and Reese Schaefer. They're always up front. You feel like they've got to be doing something right as well. I feel like they did not throw caution to the wind in terms of tire wear. So we'll see which one prevails later in the race. What I do know is we still have this deadlock battle back here for that 7th position. Sean Jensick working to the inside of Logan Truitt. There's Sturgill and Bradley Brandon, Brian McAvoy in this battle as well. 5, 6 trucks under a blanket if you count Lane Hossler. Maybe 7 if you count Bobby Anderson. I mean, we are all packed up here.
Yeah, and it's also nice to see that we're also at another 1.5 miles where it's a multi-groove track, so you're able to kind of work the inside and the outside. I wouldn't really say the outside is too good on fresh tires, just because everybody's got speed and heat on the very bottom. But later on in the run, the outside's going to come into play.
Lane Doyle gets by Joshua Balliet for 5th, and Doyle will clear via the apron. And looking there, Sturgill kind of cutting off Bradley Brandon here, and everyone's starting to find their way single file. We saw yesterday, Landon, the Vibrant truck guys, when they did get their green flag run, it took them about 10-15 laps. They started to migrate to that top lane. Not doing that just yet here in the glitch race, but I'd imagine very soon we can see these drivers fighting for grip. You already see them not staying on that bottom lane just as long as they were earlier in the race. Unfortunately here for Devin Zimmerman, he is already the first truck 1 lap down. Actually, it looks like Byron McDonald and Mark Moran have also suffered some incidents. So when we get to that stage caution around lap 30 lane, and we'd also might be doing a little detective work and seeing what happened to these guys early on. But of course, we know Zimmerman had that incident early and going a lap down to the leaders.
Yeah, Emerson, and as we're looking at his truck right now, it looks like he's got a little bit of scuff marks on the right side of that truck. So not sure if he had any help there. We'll definitely take a look at it. But just a very, again, a tough race for Devin Zimmerman, and hopefully once this, we get the stage caution come out, he can get his lap back and kind of fight for the top spot again.
Fortunately, we were just talking about him before the broadcast too, Landon. Right on that cut line, right? This could have been a very important race for him, and now once again finds himself behind the 8 ball early.
Yeah,
You're not
that's
missing out in front. Go for it.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say that, that's very true. We're talking about Devin, and for us, knowing Devin as, one of our good friends, he's very humble in what he does. So even though he does have, the string of bad luck has been continuing on, he looks at it and says, okay, what can I do next race to, improve? So that's one of the benefits of Devin and how he races. So I don't expect, Devin to be in this slump for a long time.
Absolutely not. He's a veteran of the series. He knows how to get himself out of these dumps. Unfortunately, he's had quite a few, but he always finds himself right back in the thick of it. Of course, he was very much a competitor early on in the seasons at Speed Racing Network, and I see him getting back to that sometime here in the future. If he could just find his way out of this really, really tough part of the schedule for him. Here's McAvoy and Truitt. This is the battle for that last stage point, Landon. As we are approaching the halfway point in stage 1, Truitt slides up nearly into the door there to 79.
Yeah, we're starting to see how that bottom is kind of not being the preferred lane as we're 15 laps into this run. And what you mentioned from last night's race, everybody kind of migrated to the top. So we're also, we're also seeing how, if you're side by side with somebody and they're pinching kind of like the air off your truck, it's kind of hard to stick to that bottom.
Out in front, 15 laps complete halfway through stage number 1 is Dean Brummett leading Reese Schaefer, Cole Martin, Gabriel Ellison, and Lane Doyle. Top 4 have pulled away from the field. Doyle leads really the rest of the field. Balliet on back. But these top 4, they have absolutely gapped Lane Doyle by about 1.3 seconds.
Yeah, in past races, you know, we've seen time and time where Reese Schaefer and Dean Brummett, they get to such a big lead, but then they kind of just even out because honestly, I think they do that on purpose. I think they try to get as much speed as they can and as far away as they can from the field in the first couple laps, and then they just save their stuff as we see Reese trying to make that pass for the top spot.
Yeah, Reese trying it. He dove down to the inside into turn 1, and Reese, he's trying to make that cut underneath of Dean Brummett through the center of the corner. If you see that jostling for position deep in the pack, that is Ryan Johnson, who is having some connectivity issues. So you'll see his name drop and reappear back inside the top 20. I promise you there's not a wreck going on back there. It's just Ryan Johnson having a little bit of connectivity issues here. Here comes Balliet. He's searching back on Lane Doyle. Doyle really was not able to keep up with those front runners now, and he's getting swallowed up by the rest of the field here. Balliet looking to make that pass, but it's going to be so hard to do it on the bottom where looks like the bottom has already been used up on this run.
Yeah, Emerson, and I think he's going to get him here. But like previously when we were looking at Dean Brummett, I think drivers are starting to search for what is the
Sturgill.
best. That was close. Good job on them for backing it off and not causing a caution there. But like I was saying, you know, we're starting to see drivers kind of search around, see what lane works best. Bottom lane, middle lane, or the top lane. But it looks like Joshua Balliet kind of saved. We saw him kind of back off a little bit, and it looks like he's saving his tires to be able to still use that bottom lane.
And that's always a difficult balance. As Bradley Brandon trying to look to the inside of the 7 truck. It's always a difficult balance, Landon, because of course you always want to save tires, but you can't just, you know, back off and lose all the pace to save those tires. At the same time, you don't want to go all out and then be caught out later in the race with no tire grip. So it's hard to balance these drivers. That's what they use this first stage for. It's really an experimental stage, right? If you save tires really well in the stage where you don't make up spots, maybe you push a little harder after the stage caution. Or if you made up spots but you're not able to retain them, maybe you have to save a little more after that stage caution.
Yeah, exactly. And you know,
Jensic pounds the wall.
Looks like he kissed it a little flush. Hopefully it's not too bad of damage. But like I was saying, Emerson, I mean, it's going back to like the tire saving situation. You know, me personally, if I'm saving tires, I'm not fast. You know, there's drivers out there that are able to still be fast, still able to run to the top, you know, the top spot, pull away from people, and save tires at the same time. That's not me. And as we can tell, Dean Brummett, you know, Reese Schaefer, Cole Martin, Gabriel Ellison, I mean, they've already put a 2.5 second, you know, gap over 5th place Lane Doyle. So everybody's kind of got their, you know, perspective on how they want to work things, but it's very interesting to see.
Interesting for sure. Jensic finally does clear by Lane Doyle. Doyle now succumbs to the pack, and now Balliet trying to get to the outside of that 47, and he does get to the outside. He might have his chance here on Doyle around the outside. Sturgill on the outside there. Bradley Brandon and McAvoy clears by Truett. Doyle now in trouble. He's going to fall backwards quick.
Yeah, and Joshua Balliet ended up jumping to the outside there because he just couldn't do anything on the inside, as we mentioned. You know, this is a later top lane track, so you'll see Joshua Balliet got stuck down on the bottom now.
And look at Lane Doyle. Doyle really dropping back as well. You're right, Balliet. He is going to get overtaken by Sturgill. You're going to be 3 wide here out of turn 2. Brandon McAvoy. McAvoy pounds the wall down. Oh, trucks go to avoid. Truett down to the bottom. Hostler 3 wide into turn 3. McAvoy back in the wall.
Oh, no, the infamous stuck in the wall. Hopefully it's not too much damage. It shouldn't be. It looks like he kissed it just as hard as Sean Jensic did, and Sean Jensic kind of just pulling away from everybody. So that's good to see that damage isn't hurting him at all. And kind of curious to see how bad this damage is going to hurt
Brian
That
McAvoy.
was Brian McAvoy. Sorry.
Yeah, Lane Doyle back on that outside. Lane no longer dropping like a rock. Lane Hostler, the one on the inside, trying to make something work. To the inside of Truitt and Doyle. Hostler trying to roll that inside. 5 laps to go in stage number 1. Truitt now trying to get to the outside of Doyle. Doyle shuts the door.
Yeah, and it looks like Logan Truitt is actually subbing in for Austin Purnell. You know, Austin's one of our regulars here, and he was, you know, fighting for one of the spots within the the playoffs because he's a very consistent driver. So I'm not sure if he's getting kind of I'm not sure where he lives, but hopefully it's not near where the hurricane is.
Yeah, I believe it's Hurricane Idalia, Tropical Storm Idalia, affecting much of the southeast of this nation right now. Of course, thoughts to everyone affected by the storm, and you know, best wishes to everyone to make it through. But right now we are working lap 27 of 110. This time there'll be 3 laps to go. Schaefer was nearly overtaken there by Cole Martin. Martin not able to do so on the inside. Dean Brummett out in front. 3 laps to go in the stage. Oh, we got trucks in the wall. Oh no, Bobby Anderson. Oh, Kyle Vincent Gilbert, another truck involved as well. And the caution is going to come out. And that may be the stage yellow.
We're just talking about Bobby Anderson being on that line. This is definitely not something that he wanted to see in this race.
Let's try to see what happened here. We caught it very late, but see, maybe up above. Slow down a little bit, and net-coated contact. Oh, that's the worst. Between Kyle Vincent Gilbert and Bobby Anderson. Both of them racing hard, but I'll be honest, nobody really did anything wrong. That's unfortunate. And Gilbert gets back into the 66. Anderson's going to come down. He doesn't hit the 48 there of Westwood. Oh, my goodness.
Was close.
A big-time damage for Bobby Anderson. He took the tow back to pit lane. That is massive, massive damage.
Yeah, hitting nose
Oh, my
first.
goodness.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
hits there.
Nose first into the wall. I'm pretty sure he's going to be done for the rest of the night. That is a hard hit. I always mention Emerson. I'm glad these aren't real because that would not feel good at all.
Oh, my goodness. We'll get an onboard shot of that one. Oh, my goodness. What a job from Kyle Westwood, by the way. Right on board here. This is with Bobby Anderson. Oh, blown motor. Oh, my. Yeah, and then you see he was struggling.
Yeah, we see why that was an instant tow. Like you mentioned, it was just instant blown motor. Which unfortunately, in iRacing terms and how we race, that is no bueno.
So we're going to go back to early in the race here. This is the incident that Devin Zimmerman was involved in. Already a little sideways as this happens. Back up the track. Hit from the rear by Bobby Anderson, and then Zimmerman goes around. And he'll make slight contact there with Mark Morton, but not sure why Morton came into the pit unless that was more severe contact than we saw. Zimmerman sliding. Oh, slam it off the inside wall.
Yeah, I saw the damage on the right, on the passenger side there, and I was wondering where it came from. But you know, looking at that replay, it looks like Devin just got super loose and nowhere for Bobby to go. I mean, it's really hard to slow up these trucks, especially that quick, as we just saw it there, and nowhere for Mark Morton to go either, as he just gets in the back of him. But yeah, again, just very tough luck for Devin Zimmerman.
Yeah, Devin got loose by himself, and around he went. And then something amiss Mark Morton. That was not Mark Morton that got collected. Mark Morton was already on
Oh,
the
my
pit lane.
apologies.
That was I mentioned Mark Morton because that's what I saw on the sheet, but that was Brad Herman that made contact. Oh, and Mark Morton, I believe he was serving his penalty. I believe that was it from Mark Morton. Unfortunately, Ryan Johnson did not make it to the end of this race for
Yeah, we
connectivity
mentioned
issues.
connection issues, and that's another one of those things that you that you wish doesn't happen.
So we'll jump up here with the safety vehicle and Dean Brummett. We'll try to get a quick word in with our stage winner. Landon, I typically get that stage interview in, but Dean, I feel like I've talked to him a bunch this season. I'll give you the stage interview here, Landon.
Hey, Dean, it's Landon up in the booth. You got a copy?
Got a copy, buddy. What you say?
Oh, hey, Dean. Well, won the stage, dominant like we've seen every week. I mean, how's the truck feel?
Feels pretty good. Chicago's always a fun track. I honestly like it a lot better in a high horsepower race car like a Gen 4 or a Xfinity car. But I mean, it feels good. Like like so many of these that I have talked about. Just hate this aero style racing, man.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to disagree with you on that one. Definitely wish we had some Gen 4. Well, I'm gonna make it quick. What's the plan for the rest of the race, and do you think we'll see you in victory lane?
Go fast, turn left, raise hell, praise Dale. Let's go for it.
Perfect. Good luck.
Hey, thank you, buddy.
So a little bit of a short stage interview there for Dean Brummett. We were catching up with all those incidents, but Dean, he's been talking to us plenty of times this season. I'm sure he'll be okay. It'll be green flag back in the air racing once again from Joliet. One lap removed from the stage break, Landon, and it is Dean Brummett still out in front. A thing to note, Reese Schaefer all the way down in the 19th position. I wonder if there was a penalty under that caution period.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and I didn't see Reese, up in the top 10. So definitely probably a penalty, but I'm also looking up kind of like the weird how everything kind of played out. I mean, we got Cole Martin back in 7th. Joshua Balliet back in 6th, so definitely some change up on pit road.
And actually, I see Reese came in a second time. Maybe it was just to top off on fuel. So maybe some fuel strategies already coming into play. But we are now 1/3 of the way through the action here at the Chicagoland Speedway. Dean Brummett, Sean Jensick, Bradley Brandon, Gabriel Ellison, Michael Sturgill, then the top 5. Brummett not pulling away from these guys either. I wonder if something is up in the strategy world. Oh, Bradley Brandon nearly into the side of the 27 machine. They'll keep it going all in the right direction, but Brandon was trying to get really up close and personal with Gabriel Ellison.
Yeah, and we were talking about Reese Schaefer. I mean, it's only a matter of time before we see him back up in, the top 10. So definitely one of the drivers that we need to look out for the rest of this race. And we got some hard battling going on here for the top 4 position.
Yeah, if you saw, Sturgill went from the top to the bottom. The elevator move all the way down the racetrack sent it into turn number 3, and then it was hard fought battling between Sturgill and Brandon, nearly leaning on one another's doors into turn number 3, and Sturgill was the one who outmuscled the 35, and so Sturgill, the one who takes advantage of that battle. A great move from Michael Sturgill. Out in front, it's Dean Brummett, though, in this long train of cars.
Yeah, and Team Brummett's kind of got a new field to play with here, as you know, we got Sean Jensick and Gabriel Ellison up in the second and third spot, and we know Sean Jensick as one of those guys that is always fast. And the season hasn't really been the season that he wanted, but you know, running P2 right now after the stage is a very solid beginning to the race.
We're right on board with Sean Jensick as he was trying to chase down Dean Brummett. These four, they are all on top of one another. The top four separated by 0.3 of a second. And so that means they are all up on one another. Here's a battle here. Hostler to the outside of Cole Martin. This is Hostler working that outside lane or that middle lane. Oh, Martin hits the apron. Hostler, he's going to take great advantage of that.
Yeah, and McAvoy's trying to look and see what he could do as he tried to look low, but now he's going back to the top to see what kind of run he can get.
Now McAvoy under attack from Brad Herman. We saw Herman involved with the Devin Zimmerman incident early in this race. He is risen back to the occasion, and now McAvoy trying to fend off Brad Herman.
Yeah, we saw Brad Herman get into the back of Devin Zimmerman there on that replay. Doesn't look like there's too much damage as he's battling for the 9th spot between him and McAvoy.
Right on board of Branson McCannon. Looking at the rear end there of the Aon Motorsports 85 of Brian McAvoy. And let me see if I get this correct, because I know there's a couple of teams there. But for Brian McAvoy, it's the pilot machine. On board with the JBR machine of Branson McCannon.
Yeah, we're kind of looking at, you know, 3 different teams there, so field's pretty.
Oh.
That was close. You know, we see a lot of netcode issues within this series in iRacing, so it's just crazy how, you know, one incident could be netcode and another non-incident, you know, you would think would be netcode.
That's another thing too, Landon. They were on the apron. Oh, we got a battle for the lead. Jensick to the inside. Side by side, Jensick dives down onto the apron, trying to muscle past Dean Brummett. Jensick will lead the lap. Brummett stays to the outside, and Landon, all of a sudden, there's a new contender here. He's not clear yet, and he does. Oh, nearly into the wall. Then the crossover from Dean.
It's only lap 43, Emerson. What's going on here?
It's called a motor race because these guys, they are on it. Gabriel Ellison wants a piece of the action. He sticks his nose into the fight, and don't watch now. Michael Sturgill wants to get inside this battle for the race lead. How about 4 trucks under a blanket, and Bradley Brandon is on his way.
Yeah, Team Brummett, you know, saw Sean Jensick trying to get that lead from him, and he was like, no, I want to keep this lead with a power move to get past him.
Jensick led a lap, but Brummett won the battle. And now Jensick has to undergo some heavy fire from Gabriel Ellison. Sturgill surges on to 27, and Bradley Brandon got within a sniff of the top 4. And Balliette's still within a second. We have 6 of these guys within a second of one another.
And that's what Dean Brummett loved to see right there, is the 2 of Sean Jensick and Gabriel Ellison battling each other. Kind of pulled away a little bit, but we see Sean Jensick trying everything he can, different lanes to try to get back up to the 31 of Dean Brummett.
Jensick, a great run, surging on the 31 machine. If you see Jensick get to that outside of the 31 machine, it might be a different ball game. But you know what, Landon? Dean Brummett knows that. He knows if Jensick gets to his outside, it might be game over. So Dean is going to defend his outside, and he'll give Jensick the inside because he knows he can pin down the 29 machine. Or does he? Jensick has a chance to get to the outside, but Brummett, oh, he drives it so deep through the center of the corner. He's A-okay.
Yeah, and I was going to mention maybe Dean Brummett's kind of saving a little bit, but after we saw that move of him just straight sending it into 3, I don't think he's saving anything. So Sean Jensick is here to play.
And there's look at the field, Landon. Everyone all within this long train of trucks. I'd say 19 trucks within 5 seconds of one another. This is still very much a pack race.
Absolutely, and we see Dean Brummett trying to take away that lane that Sean Jensic is kind of searching for, and we see Sean kind of moving up to the very top, down to the middle, even trying the bottom as we see him kind of go one lane off of the, actually a lane and a half off the wall. It's kind of even right now.
On board with Dean Brummett, watching Sean Jensic surge on the 31. They've opened up a gap to Sturgill now, and Sturgill, by the way, he is starting to get eaten up by these guys back here. Ellison, Brandon, and now Balliet, they're all hounding the 90 machine.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't count out Gabriel Ellison or Joshua Balliet or Bradley Brandon. We saw them kind of fade back a little bit. Maybe save a little bit of that extra tire, even if there isn't really that much of a tire difference. But, again, we're talking about Joshua Balliet here. I mean, he's one of the best.
He was the point leader for a few weeks. Then he had that rough run at Iowa, and then he was second at Darlington, but he had that rough run at Iowa with that accident that knocked him out of the point lead. But Balliet still up in the top 5 in points and close. Balliet, he's put his stake on the season as well. And looking around, the battles really still very tight up here. Oh, Sturgill around the outside. I'm sorry, defending on the outside of Gabriel Ellison. Ellison not able to make that pass yet. Also, Cole Martin going at it, this for 7th.
Yeah, Emerson, and going back, I mean, it's just another thing I want to just bring up again, and I know we already mentioned it, but the way the lanes are. I mean, we're on, you know, the view of Joshua Balliet. He's kind of running that middle to the top lane, and then we go to a cut to another driver, and they're running a lane lower than that. You know, it's very interesting and very it's really cool to see what lanes these guys are driving or using to, you know, get the speed in their car and kind of hold where they're at.
Absolutely. It is quite the intriguing mental battle, if you will, as well, and the battle of driver versus track, I think, more than anything. And now Brian McAvoy to the outside of Lane Hostler. Teammates here out of the pilot camp going at it, and Hostler trying to make that move up to the 8th position on his teammate. McAvoy trying to move up on Hostler. Hostler trying to say no way. And the 85 then of Brad Herman trying to have a say in this battle as well.
Yeah, and this is a battle that we've been kind of keeping an eye on for the past couple of laps between, you know, Branton McCannon, Brad Herman, Lane Hosler, and Brian McAvoy. They kind of just been all under each other's skin, as Brad Herman's looking to make it 3 wide to try to get that spot.
He wanted to.
Yeah, he did.
They soar into turn 1 again. McAvoy around the outside, Herman around the outside, and now McCannon around the outside. And Lane Hostler, he is getting roundhoused here.
Yeah, Hosler's probably thinking right now, like, oh man, why do I have to be stuck on the inside?
And that's difficult as a driver. Landon, I know you've had a few more opportunities to run league racing this year as opposed to I have. When you're down on that bottom lane, Landon, obviously it's very frustrating. How do you keep yourself calm? How do you find yourself that best scenario to be on damage control, getting roundhoused turn after turn, lap after lap, and not panicking?
Yeah, that's a great question, Emerson. You know, I want to throw it back to a race that, you know, we recently did last season in SRN, which was Michigan. You know, Michigan is one of them tracks where, especially in the trucks, the high lane is very dominant, but it's just like this, for instance. I mean, you know, the bottom lane is superior for the first couple laps, and then it jumps up to the top lane. I mean, there were so many times during that race where I would be in 4th or 5th position, and everybody would just be in a train, just passing me on the top. It's frustrating. But you got to realize like, okay, there's got to be a hole or a gap somewhere that I can squeeze into and kind of just, keep going and pass people the way that they just passed me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I guess it's a mental thing more than anything, right? And to always be searching. And we got a battle here. Bradley Brandon, Joshua Balliet for that 5th position. Again, Ellison not able to get by his Sturgill. Balliet trying to find a way past the 35. Trying to turn down to the inside. He enters high. Oh my goodness, all over. The quarter panel of that 35 machine was the 7.
Yeah, I've been watching Balliet, and he's kind of using a lane where, Bradley Brandon isn't, try to get that fresh, clean air. Because when you're stuck behind somebody and they're running your lane, it's just dirty air, and it's a lack of speed and a lack of, I want to say, that push that you get to get past somebody. As we see, as Bradley went low and Balliet went up high.
That's the beauty of it, Landon. You think you're going to take away that guy's lane one corner, and he decides to, switch up on you, jump to the high side. And if he wasn't too careful there, he could have allowed Balliet to his outside, which at Chicagoland, this lane to the run lane, and if you let a truck get to your outside, you're losing that spot essentially.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw that with Lane, a couple laps ago, and as we were just talking about it, it's frustrating because you put in all this work and then you make one.
Oh, pit stops
going on.
Oh my goodness, we're on board with Balliet. I guess let's keep that speedo on, and you see him there on the pit lane. Wow, no idea we were getting pit stops there. We watched Balliet drop down the gears, get down the pit lane. We were about to go back to some TV coverage, and we got a treat there.
And Joshua Balliet is one of those guys that we watch week in, week out, and he is very, very dominant when it comes to pit road, especially entry, as we saw him gain a couple car lengths. So we'll see him get some 4 brand new, fresh Goodyear tires and a full tank of fuel.
And now, Lana, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was about 28, 29 laps removed from the stage. With the way it is right now, I mean, you're not going to run out of fuel, right, if you one stop it to the end, but it's going to be a tight one stop.
It really is, and it's one of those things where I'm glad I'm not racing because I am nowhere near an expert at pit strategy, but I would think staying out just a little bit to make it a one stop, to be comfortable and kind of push for a one stop is the way to go. But I mean, we're seeing people like Dean Brummett and Joshua Balliet come pit, so they're the experts. They know.
Exactly. I feel like if I was like up there in the top 5, if I'm not usually up there, I'm just gonna follow that guy.
Yeah, I mean
that guy, he's got it figured out. Schaefer comes in hot. Oh my goodness! I hope he got down to pit road speed for his sake. He was flying.
Yeah, and another example of how just strong this field is. I mean, we saw Reese Schaefer start back in the 19th spot on that restart, and he didn't seem to make his way back in the top 10. So I bet that is very frustrating, a very costly penalty if that was the case. But like you said, he did come down a second time to maybe pack it full of fuel, but he's pitting right now, so I'm not too sure about that, Emerson.
Not sure what that call was, other than to get Reese Schaefer some insurance on the pit stop, and he didn't speed because he's down and away. Here's Dean Brummett and Sean Jensick, though. They're battling for the theoretical lead.
Exactly. I was going to say, but look at this. I mean, this is just a pack, and they're using each other's drafts, so Reese is going to be on the lonesome there.
And Dean powers by, throttles past the 29 machine. And Branson McCannon will pit out of the race lead, sacrificing the lead to Logan Truitt. Still to pit, Truitt, Markle, Westwood, and Cunningham.
Yeah, Emerson, and like we mentioned, pit strategy, this is very, very curious to see. I mean, it may seem like 4 laps ago we were just talking about like, oh, why are they pitting so early? But it's 4 laps. Anything can happen in 4 laps.
Absolutely. Oh! Intriguing there. McCannon Maybe he jumps out the car to do a quick setting change or something. But McCann will lose quite a bit of time. Logan Truitt holds the lead then. 1.7 seconds, 1.8 seconds over Tyler Markle. Westwood, Cunningham, the rest of the lead lap. Dean Brummett now leads the theoretical battle for the lead over Sturgill, Jensick, Ellison, Balliet just lapped himself, and Truitt's coming in. Here comes Tyler Markle as well. Oh, Truitt's gonna slide! Oh, Markle, did he get down to pit road speed? Westwood and Cunningham, they come in. Truitt slid. I don't know. Markle got down to pit road speed either. Oh, and he slides to the box as well to add some more pain. Oh my goodness, guys.
Yeah, two drivers right there kicking themselves for having such a very eventful pit entry. I'm not too sure if Markle sped. It did look like he was going a little fast.
Oh, he did. It's 25 seconds now in the box and counting.
No. It's definitely not something Tyler Markle wanted to see. But even though we saw Logan Truitt kind of get a little squirrely there, what a good save that he did. You know, not plowing it into the wall. Because I know getting onto pit road is very, very tricky.
Absolutely, Landon. We were kind of talking about that before the race. This pit lane is one of the more difficult 1.5 mile pit lanes to get onto. It is all the way around the corner. You have to exit turn 4 to get onto this pit lane. Which means that's a huge banking change. They also have to contend with the apron is very slippery here. Branson McCannon has had an off. And something amiss with McCannon. I believe he had a slide through the infield. Let's see if maybe we can figure out what happened real quick to Branson McCannon. Oh, he slams the wall all by himself. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we saw him going for kind of like it looked like a setting change. So I'm not sure if maybe something's going on with that truck or his setup within. But that looks extremely odd to be, you know, in-car problem. That was strange.
Not something you see, especially on fresh tires. Now McCannon coming down the pit lane. Battle for the lead. Michael Sturgill. Sturgill had a shot to the inside of Brummett. Couldn't get down there, though.
Yeah, and we saw Michael, you know, kind of lurking in the back, just waiting his turn. And it looks like it's time to say, hey, guys, I want a chance at the lead right here.
To put a lap then on the 88 of Albert Hewins.
Yeah, Emerson, we were talking about pit road, and you know what? It kind of reminds me of Darlington a little bit. You know, I'm not trying to reminisce on what happened at Darlington, but, you know, we mentioned that you kind of got to enter from the backstretch and kind of wrap around with the banking and all that. So it's very tricky, very high speeds, but it's just, there's a lot of tracks that are kind of similar to this, you know. I mean,
equate this one maybe to more of a Dover pit lane. You have to drive off the banking in the pit lane and then, you know, also get it well down. Now, of course, the thing is pit lane speed here is nearly double the pit lane speed it is at Dover, but still.
Oh, yeah, we're talking about pit road. Just wait till we get to Dover. That is the
we do have Dover on the schedule.
That's one of the most toughest pit roads to be on, no matter where you're at or what car you're running.
If we don't have somebody slam into the pit attenuator water barrels, I will feel almost, you know, ripped off. That is a devastating pit road to miss.
I mean, I love you, Dean, but we saw it in Darlington.
Oh no. The battle for second still rages on. Sturgill and Jensick going at it. 38 laps to go here from the Windy City. Out in front is Dean Brummett, Sturgill, Jensick, Ellison, Balliet, Martin, Hostler, McAvoy, Brandon, and Schaefer, then the top 10.
Yeah, everything kind of cycled. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Let's just say the rest of the lead lap: Herman, Doyle, Politis, Cunningham, Holiday, Westwood, and Truitt.
Yeah, Emerson, I was just going to mention how everything kind of cycled out the way it was. You know, a couple guys, especially Branson Mechanic, kind of not there anymore. But Reese Schaefer back on the top 10. Bradley Brandon dropping down back to ninth. McAvoy and Hosler the same, kind of in the same area they were. Brad Herman dropping back to 11th. So kind of a clean pit stop for those guys. Nice to see that, they didn't have any issues and kind of be even where they were.
How about Schaefer right here? Quietly about to get a 2-for-1 special. He got by Brandon and nearly got by McAvoy in the same corner. And Schaefer's going to drive it in deep. And can he get it to stick? He gets it to stick and he clears this front of the 79. Not clear yet. But in one lap, then Schaefer will get 2 spots. And it was all really one move.
Yeah, and he's also looking on Hosler as well. So, I mean, Reese Schaefer definitely with the speed of that truck right now. I mean, we saw him. This was kind of his race to win and having that pit road incident. So, kind of interesting to see. We got 35 laps to go. See how far he can make it up there.
Now, very tight battling, but the unfortunate thing for Schaefer is he is 5 seconds off the leaders and losing time. Valiette, he has been leading this pack, and he's lost a second since he's gotten since the pit cycle. Now, I wonder if that may be because these guys are saving and these guys in front are not, but I mean, a second, that's a big difference. And now Brummett is now opening a gap to Sturgill and Jensick and Ellison.
Yeah, Emerson, and we kind of saw it where how many laps they did on that run, about 20, I want to say, what, 26, 28, somewhere around there. So, I mean, these guys are going to probably most likely have to pit again. So, honestly, I think we're going to probably see another pit strategy race.
Now, Schaefer on Cole Martin, by the way, Reese Schaefer, he is flying, making up some track position right now. Now, he is on 3-4 lap fresher tires than most of these guys. And he's going to have a huge run on Valiette as well, because this is going to be one of the bigger tire differences in the field. So Schaefer is on a charge. So these guys continue to battle. We're going to let the sim do some of the talking, and we'll get you all out audio from the Chicagoland Speedway. And pit stops underway again here from Chicagoland. Valiette, Gabriel Ellison coming down the pit lane, trying to get the jump on these guys. There's Ellison pitting. He pitted from that battle inside the top 4. Bradley Brandon, Michael Politis involved as well. Trying to get the jump on these guys here with the short pit.
Yeah, and that's a very, very short pit. I want to say that's probably a 15-lap run there, but I mean, honestly, Emerson, I think if we're looking at one driver who's going to stand out from this, I think it's going to be that 17 of Reese Schaefer.
I think it was about a 22 lap run for these guys. The leader is in though, Dean Brummett. And Brummett is in with 27 laps to go. Stops on the mark. The leader becomes Michael Sturgill as a result. Doyle and Hostler on the pit lane as well. So Dean down and away.
Yeah, very clean stop from Dean. Kind of curious to see where he kind of pans out here. He should be back in the lead between these guys, but again, we did see, you know, Joshua Balliet kind of pit a lap before him, so very interested to see how that works out.
Sturgill, he's coming down the pit lane now. He'll give up the lead to Jensick. And Sturgill, he'll make pit lane speed. Cole Martin is in. So now the leader, Sean Jensick, has that 3-second lead over Reese Schaefer. 3 3/4 second, and nearly 4 over Herman. 8.5 over Connor Cunningham, and here comes Jensick.
Man, it looks like these guys are flying into pit road, but it might just be my eyes.
Yeah, it seems like it there. Now the leader is Reese Schaefer in this battle with Brad Herman. 24 laps to go. And the thing is, Dean is running 1 1/4 second faster than Reese Schaefer right now. So how long do these guys stay out?
I think Reese is coming in
here he
right
comes.
now. Yeah, here he is. Oh man, that looked like a very uncomfortable entry to pit road as you saw the back end kind of swirly around a little bit, but oh man, pretty sure you got to slow down.
Herman, Cunningham, Truitt, Holiday, and Hewins. Then the 5 yet to pit. Here comes Brad Herman. Schaefer's going to be a long ways back here of Dean Brummett. Call it about 7-8 seconds. Herman driving through all the pit boxes to get down to his box. But as a result of that, Connor Cunningham takes over the race lead. Logan Truitt coming in. Albert Hewins came in the lap before, and Cunningham and Holiday, then the 2 leaders. Connor Cunningham staying out, probably hoping for that magic yellow cloth to fly from the sky. And there's Dean Brummett. Out of turn number 2, he's got a 1.1 second advantage over Gabriel Ellison.
Yeah, and as we saw, it kind of stacked or changed up a little bit. You know, Gabriel Ellison now in that prime second spot behind Dean Brummett, and Sean Jensick is kind of shifted back to in the 4th behind Dean Brummett. So we kind of been seeing a lot of, you know, moving around on pit road. So that's interesting to see.
Yeah, a lot of changes. And the thing that hasn't changed is Cunningham is still out there. Even Doc Holliday. Well, I thought Holliday was coming in because there's reduction of speed, but he's still out there. Cunningham still in that middle lane. How long can they go? You have to wonder. This is a lot of laps. How did somebody not also try to go long on the first stint, or go longer on the first stint? Or why did they pit so soon on this stint? Doc Holliday is in the 9 machine, but Connor Cunningham is still out here.
Yeah, Emerson, I honestly have no idea. I mean, he's got to come down to pit road anytime soon. I mean, these trucks can't make it till the very end, and like you mentioned, he is hoping for that caution to come out. But the way that the field is spread out right now, I don't think that is going to happen. But hey, you never know.
Well, he's getting to the point now. Even if he pits and the caution comes out, most of the guys who pitted, they're gonna have to come back in, and so he'll be good even if a caution comes out now, or if one comes within 3 laps, 4 laps after he pits. So he's got a long range here. As Mark Morton has had an incident, he's jumped to the pit lane after taking a tow. Cunningham will still stay out here. This time by 16 laps to go. I mean, there's no way he can make it, right?
Unless I'm calculating wrong, but I don't think so. I mean, even if he did, I mean, Dean Brummett is coming quick. I mean, he got that lead in 18 seconds behind Connor Cunningham. So,
you know who else is going quick though? Gabriel Ellison is now brought within a second of Dean Brummett. It was over a second, and now Ellison nearly 0.8 of a second. Now Sturgill has a piece. This isn't secure for Dean Brummett either.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, we've seen the speed out of Sturgill, and we've seen the speed out of Gabriel Ellison, but like we mentioned, there's 15 to go, and you know time's ticking. It's running down.
So the gap between Dean Brummett and Michael Sturgill is half a second, and Sturgill has 3 lap fresher tires than Dean Brummett. This battle is on, Landon. Here comes Sturgill. Now under 0.4 of a second back of Brummett.
Yeah, and we saw Dean Brummett kind of have that, you know, that battle with that lap car. I'm not sure if that kind of slowed him down a little bit. It definitely looked like it did, but like you mentioned, Sturgill is coming, and he wants that lead.
Searching now 0.2 of a second behind. All the while, Connor Cunningham is still out on the racetrack. We're now 31 laps. He is now 31 laps into his current fuel run. I imagine he could probably go about 4 more laps. I think he might be coming in now, guys. No? Never mind.
No.
Yeah, Cunningham, he's got another 3 laps or so in his fuel run. But there might not be 3 laps in this battle for the theoretical lead. It will be the battle for a second and a battle for the lead after Cunningham pins. Brummett now has to go on the defensive.
Yeah, Dean's just trying to run him as hard as they can to kind of even out those tires, but Sturgill is on his way.
Sturgill to the inside. Brummett still outside. He's got the pin down. Michael Sturgill. Connor Cunningham finally comes down to pit lane. But here's the battle for the lead. This time by will be 11 laps to go.
And like we saw, that outside lane is just so dominant. Dean Brummett got that run out the outside and just kind of pulled away a little bit, but Sturgill with them 4 lap fresher tires is definitely, he's lurking. He wants it.
So Sturgill stalks the rear end of the 31 machine. Right on board with Dean Brummett. Connor Cunningham will come out of the pit lane all the way down in the 16th position as a result of his pit stop. But Cunningham will have the freshest tires in the field, so he may have a chance to gain some positions.
Oh man, Emerson, but you can just see the dominance and the speed of Dean Brummett tonight. I mean, yeah, you know, Sturgill has the 4 lap fresher tires, but Dean is just, he's holding his own. I mean, we saw how quick Sturgill got up to him and kind of contested for that lead, but Dean kind of just took his lane away and is holding him to where, you know, a very steady gap.
Yeah, what is it, Landon? You know, catching somebody is one thing, passing somebody is another. And that was the definition of it right there. Michael Sturgill had a huge run catching Dean Brummett. And he gets to Dean Brummett. And all he can do is sit behind him.
Yeah, and that's where the, you know, dirty air, clean air comes in. I feel like, I mean, we see Sturgill kind of following up, kind of running the same lane as Dean Brummett in a 1 and 2, but Dean kind of takes that very low lane in 3 and 4 and kind of gains a little bit. And I feel like the lanes are kind of switching up later in the run here.
So Brummett down on the inside. This time that'll be 7 laps to go. And Brummett just trying to fend off a hard-charging Michael Sturgill with 2 lap pressure tires.
Yeah, that last lap, it looked like Sturgill was a little bit better in 1 and 2. And again, Dean Brummett is just very dominant in 3 and 4, was able to kind of keep that gap to where it needs to be.
So we're here now, Sturgill, 6 laps to go, trying to get that run on the high side up off the corner and find a way around this 31 truck. He closes the gap, but Brummett sits in front of him, gives him that 30 air, and Sturgill has nothing to do but to sit there in turns 1 and 2 and lift and watch Brummett drive away on exit.
Yeah, Emerson, I mean, what do you do? I mean, you see, like I mentioned, you see as he follows him down to the bottom to try to make a little bit of, see if he can get a run there. But like we mentioned, dirty air is a huge factor in this race. I mean, what do you do? How do you get away?
It's so difficult to do that, but you just have to, you have to stay close, you have to stalk and get really close, force Brummett to think, force him to look in that mirror, force him to break that focus and find a way by. I think that's what it's gonna have to do. Sturgill, he got really close there to Dean Brummett in turns 1 and 2, so might not be done yet, but it's gotta happen soon if it's gonna happen. With 4 laps to go, 6 miles to settle it.
Yeah, and we're probably going to see here that Sturgill's going to go cut down to the bottom. Actually, yeah, like we mentioned earlier, and that's how he got straight up to the back bumper of the 31. But it, like I said, it fluctuates.
So difficult to catch and then pass somebody here. Chicagoland, very difficult racetrack, of course. Everything, a very... I guess demanding racetrack on the tires, the surface. It ages these tires and it forces everyone to run a little higher this part of a run. And Brummett, he's doing just that. He's sitting in the perfect lane. 3 laps to go. Sturgill's going to have to do something brave if he's going to get this spot. Tyler Markle has had an off-track incident. He's now put 2 laps down. Cole Martin is going to get past Joshua Balliet for 7th, and 3 miles to settle it from the Windy City. This lap truck, Kyle Vincent Gilbert, might have a say in this battle.
Yeah, that's what you love to see, the lap truck just getting out of the way, stay out of the fight. Sturgill is back up to the back bumper of the 31.
We'll check in real quick as Balliet and Cole Martin continue to duel it out. Balliet able to get back by Cole Martin. The battle for 3rd is still hot between Ellison and Jensick, but with 1 lap to go, Brummett now has a 2.5 of a second advantage over Michael Sturgill. Dean Brummett, at the top of the show, I said has a stranglehold on this series, but his point lead was narrowing. It was only 3 points ahead of Reese Schaefer. Schaefer was fast. He had the pace today, but a couple issues put him further back. Then he was under attack from Jensick, Ellison, and Sturgill, and they could do nothing to stop Dean Brummett for winning the 4th time this season, and this time from the Windy City.
What a very dominant win from the 31 of Dean Brummett. Very great race from the 90 of Sturgill and the 27 of Gabriel Ellison as well. I mean, we saw them running up there from the very beginning, but what a show. This series has produced a lot of great finishes and a lot of great races.
5 away, Landon. 1 caution.
Fantastic.
And that was going to be the stage caution anyway, but it was a caution for incident. So I do have to note that it was an incident that brought out that 1 caution, but only 1. And it'll be Dean Brummett, who won the stage, and now for the 4th time this season will be the driver sitting in EPI victory lane.
We'll see if those burnouts are kind of getting a little better. He's only, had to do them 4 times this season.
I've seen better out of him, but you know what? He gets more practice than I do. So, I mean, who am I to critique a burnout?
It's okay. I've had, my share of wins throughout the past couple of seasons, and I still don't know how to do a good burnout, so I can't really, say anything to anybody.
The person who can, though, is going to be this guy, Dean Brummett. Man, what a drive today. For his 4th win on the season, Landon. It's a staggering amount of races. Because we're only on race 9, Landon. We're only on race 9, and he's got 4 of them.
I mean, we knew he was fast, but did we know he was this fast?
I mean, I knew Dean Brummett was fast, but for 4 wins on the season, Dean, I mean, how about it? Have you seen this level of dominance?
Man, I tell you what, I've seen it before, even especially in SRN. I mean, sometimes you just get a track, a car, a driver who it all clicks together, and I've been very fortunate this season to make it click. And I mean, my goodness, I mean, I look at a 2nd place even at Milwaukee, a 2nd place last week at Iowa, and what could have been at Darlington. I mean, take out Sonoma, which I had not a shot in the world at, and it makes you wonder what could have been so far this season.
Absolutely. Now, Dean, tonight's race did not come without a lot of darts thrown at the board from the field behind. You had some hard charges from Sturgill, Ellison, Schaefer was up there at one point. Jensick. I mean, all these guys, they came to fight today, but ultimately you were able to fend them off. I know maybe later in the run maybe got a little easier, but early in the runs where all the track is free game, how did you stay so so dominant out in front of the field?
Clean air is just, I mean, it's super important. You get some great draft behind. I mean, there's no question about it. But especially watching Sturgill at the end. I mean, when we got fresh tires, I mean, he did exactly what he needed to do. He was looking for the air wherever the truck in front of him wasn't, and I mean, he was flying through there. Had an excellent pit stop at the very very end, and made up a lot of time. I didn't think everybody was going to start pitting as soon as they did. And so tires being as important as they are at this track, and I've said it 100 times this season, and I'll probably say it 100 times more, just the aero being and track position being just as equally important. I knew I had to get in and out, and had a heck of a pit stop. That thing was sliding coming into the pits. I didn't know if I was going to get it woed up in time, and managed to get it to the green lights just in time. And great stop by the 31 crew to get me out. And I mean, Sturgill at the end, I mean, he was just coming so fast. I knew he had to be driving the truck a lot harder than I was. And I just kind of like last week at Iowa. I mean, when Ryan Johnson was flying through the field, I just tried to save tires the best I could to have him when he got there. And it's kind of what I did with Sturgill. And he was smart, buddy. I got to be honest, he worried me because he cooled those tires off behind me and started trying to make a charge or two to the inside. But by that time, they were just a little too slick. And Awesome run again here for the Quantum Fuel Systems Toyota.
A great run from you tonight, Dean. And wow, this is race 9 on the season for us. You missed this a race earlier this season, so you are 50% on your starts this season. But now heading into the off week, I know it's just 1 week shy of the halfway point of the season. But we'll call it maybe the halfway break with the build update coming out and everyone most leagues taking the week off next week. We will be a part of that group that won't race next week. So you have a couple weeks heading into New Hampshire, but I'm sure New Hampshire itself may not be on your radar. You're looking towards bigger and better things with the playoffs looming. But I mean, you set yourself up great here. How do you maybe approach this halfway break?
You gotta take the break, gotta enjoy it. Maybe get some week 13 racing in. It's been real fun. It's been awesome just to get to this point, and I know there's a few breaks here and there, and you want to get out, you want to run, you want to race, but at the same time, you got a new build coming out. It'll be nice to see what, if anything, these trucks change in their handling, change in their dynamics, and reload, see what you can find for the last part of the season. Want to stack up as many playoff points as we possibly can. Would love to get some of my teammates in victory lane just so that way they can go through and get into the playoffs as well. This team championship means a lot to everybody, and I'm happy to be able to go out and have the level of dominance that I am right now, and especially on a night like tonight. But at the same time, there's other guys around me who I definitely want to be able to help them get into the same position.
Absolutely, Dean, but there's no position like yours, man. It has been a dominant run so far this season with even the victory at Daytona. Then you picked up the wins at Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, with Charlotte as well. And then tonight, man, it has been some great runs. Dean, congratulations then on your 4th victory on the season. Best
Hey.
luck to you the second
So,
half of the season, man.
thank you, buddy. Hey, I just want to give you a personal apology. Last week, I was running on next to nothing in terms of sleep and just had to get to bed to get next to nothing in sleep again. But uh, I appreciate everything that you guys do. Like I said, we'll try to keep those interviews a little happier. And like I said, congrats to everybody who finished on the podium tonight. And congrats again last week to Ryan Johnson.
Absolutely, Dean. Congratulations on your dominance so far this season. Best luck to you, man.
Hey, thank you, buddy. Y'all have a great night. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Everybody stay safe.
Absolutely. That was driver then of the number 31, Dean Brummett. Again, picking up his 4th win on the season, landed some staggering numbers. But there's two sides to every story, Landon. Well, we had the chance to interview Dean Brummett for his 4th win on the season. Michael Sturgill is a driver who's come into this league. He's at pace almost every week, Landon, but still searching for his 1st win. You're standing by for 2nd place, Michael Sturgill.
Couldn't.
Hey, Michael, it's Landon and Emerson in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Oh man, oh so close. I mean, we we saw you kind of making that charge to get that lead there in the last 10 or so laps. I mean, what else did you need to make that happen?
Not sure a huge difference on the tires. I don't think the 2-lap advantage really was anything compared to having clean air. I pulled up to him, and once I pulled up to him, I was just stuck there behind him, and he knew how to run it to keep me from getting any runs and try to make any moves.
Absolutely, and it was definitely a race everybody had their eyes on. I mean, and going back, I mean, you started 16th. I mean, what a great kind of I wouldn't say rebound, but what a great run to finish P2 from 16th, especially with this field. What kind of was going through your head throughout the whole race and kind of keeping you focused on everything and making your way up?
Yeah, I just wanted to get up into the top 10 early to secure some stage points. I missed like the first 3 or 4 races, so I'm trying to point my way in if possible to the playoffs. So I wanted to get up front, and then once I was able to get, I think I finished 6th or 7th in the stage. Once I got up there, it was kind of save the tires for half the run and then go to the top and try to make up some time.
Absolutely, and looking at this kind of the stat right here. I mean, this is your 5th start in this series, and this is your 5th consecutive top 10 finish. So you're definitely one of the guys that kind of everybody's watching out for. I know we have an off week going into next week, so nobody will be racing. What's kind of you gonna be prepping or practicing for New Hampshire?
I'm sure me and I'm actually on a team now with Eons, so I'm sure we'll probably put up a practice at some point and get in there and do some long runs, see how it races.
Perfect.
Get prepared for it.
Perfect. Well, I know they'll be glad to have you with those kind of stats. Emerson, you got anything?
Nothing major. I've been very much studying Michael, seeing the consecutive top 10 finishes, man. You came onto the scene with the great run in Milwaukee, and you haven't looked back, man. If you're looking to point your way into the playoffs, keeping this streak of top 10s is definitely gonna be the way to do it, man. Congratulations on the podium tonight, man, and best luck to you the second half of the season after the break, man.
For sure. Thank you, guys.
As driver of the number 90, Michael Sturgill. Then, again, I actually didn't know that, but joined then the team at Aeons Motorsports, and that's gonna be a great group of guys he gets to run with. He's not gonna be running the independent program anymore, and I could only see this 90 team going forward. But next we'll have the interview then with our third place finisher tonight, Gabriel Ellison. And Gabe, tonight was a doozy, man, but a very competitive night for you, especially up inside that top 4. I mean, it looked like for the most part you guys could not get away from each other. But what say you? What was the racing like? The camaraderie out of everyone out there, and just great racing with only one caution tonight.
Yeah, it was good. I was around teammates most of the night, so there wasn't a lot of. I don't think I touched another car the whole night. So it was very clean, and good to see that. No wrecks. As far as the racing, the truck definitely trended tight. I'm sure you've probably heard that already, but it got pretty tight, and passing was difficult. But Dean ran a hell of a race there. He was he was flawless there. So he definitely earned that one. But yeah, I'm happy to take away a top 3, and we'll roll it on to next week.
Absolutely, Gabe. And actually, next week we're off. We're at this.
Well, the next.
I was like, we're at that weird halfway point of the season. We're actually 1 week shy of halfway, but we're gonna get that break because of the iRacing build. So I guess now would be a good time to kind of look back at how you've done so far this season. Reflect. You've ran 8 of the 9 races. You've top 10 and 7 of those 8. So it's been a great season for you so far. But how do you go into this off week? How do you readjust and come back maybe even stronger?
Yeah. I'm pretty happy with how it's went so far. I've missed Daytona, then Vegas. I crashed out and finished pretty much last. So I've just been digging out of that hole ever since. But pretty happy with that. I'm looking forward to an off week to just spend some time with the fam through the week and stuff, and then we'll be back 2 weeks from now.
Absolutely. Well, then that's our third place finisher, then Gabriel Ellison. Again, that is going to be. Actually, this is going to be the 8th straight top 10, right? There, the points get updated. I'm not sure, but Gabe, what I know is you've only not top 10 in one of your starts, as you said, it was Las Vegas. So great runs so far, and going to continue to bring that kind of speed in this 27 Aeons Motorsports Toyota Tundra. So best luck to you then the rest of the season.
Thank you.
There was our third place finisher then, Gabriel Ellison, out of that 27 machine, and Landon. Again, very fast group. Didn't know it actually. Then we had teammates on the podium, but there you go. We learn something new every day, I guess. And then we have our race results to go through. That is not new. That is what we just went through the past hour and 16 minutes, 76 minutes of racing action. And this is how they came to the line tonight. And so it was Dean Brummett then of a race winner. Michael Sturgill, now a part of Aeons Motorsports, finished second. Gabriel Ellison third. Sean Jensick fourth. Then looks like it would be a triple top 5 then for Aeons Motors. A great run for them. Reese Schaefer, a hard charge from Reese to bring it to 5th, but only what could have been if he didn't have some strategy. I guess miscue or pit lane problem on that only caution period of the day. Brad Herman will finish 6th. Joshua Balliet fends off Cole Martin, who had significantly fresher tires there, to finish 7th. Martin 8th. Brian McAvoy and Lane Hostler, then a couple pilot drivers to round out the top 10. Landon.
Yeah, and 11th we got Lane Doyle. 12th Bradley Brandon 13th, Michael Politis, and we saw 14th Connor Cunningham. I know he tried to pull out that very long fuel run, but coming home 14th, 15th Kyle Westwood, 16th Logan Truitt, 17th Doc Holliday, 18th Albert Hewins, 19th Kyle Gilbert, and round out the top 20 Tyler Markle.
Yeah, tough run then for Tyler Markle with that late race incident. He'll be 2 laps down along with Kyle Vincent Gilbert. Branson Buchanan will be 21st, 3 laps off the pace. Devin Zimmerman had that opening lap incident, or opening laps incident. I think on the 3rd lap, went around, made contact with the inside wall. He'll finish 22nd, 8 laps down. 23rd will be Ven, the 8 machine of Mark Morton, 21 laps off the pace. Had an incident late after that final pit stop. Bobby Anderson got into that massive head-on impact, the only caution of the day, as a result of him nosing it into the outside wall. Now I've had a little net-coated help then. Bobby Anderson 24th, 82 laps off the pace. Ryan Johnson faces connectivity troubles. He'll finish 25th, 92 laps off the pace. And Byron McDonald then only 4 laps through tonight's race. It'll be 106 laps off the pace then for Byron McDonald. So that is how then the 26 drivers who took the green flag today came to the checkers, or not. But a wild race today here, Landon, at the Chicagoland Speedway. Again, a very clean race. 1 caution. Very proud of these Glytch Truck Series drivers. I don't expect anything less from these guys to do it, but you see it there. They're able to prove that. I mean, these guys, they can really wheel these things and put on a great race without wrecking, man.
Oh, absolutely, and it's just a blast to be able to watch and kind of be the one to announce, during this place of events. I mean, another race where we're getting a little bit of everything, pit strategy, no caution, the 1 caution, just hard racing, brutal racing, and a lot of respect going on out there in the race, which is honestly one of the best things to see as a spectator and as a broadcaster, because it makes our job a little bit easier. But other than that, again, just another fabulous race from these guys, and like what you said, I don't expect much more from them.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, that 1 caution was net-coded contact that I don't think either driver in that incident did anything wrong. So say that netcode doesn't happen, we very much could have ran this race. Well, I guess we still would have gotten to caution for the stage, but we could have ran this race without a caution for incident tonight, Landon. I think that's crazy to think about. But I guess we do have to, do a little bit of the heavy lifting for the partners tonight, because we didn't really get to shout them out much. We are agreeing a long way tonight of the 110 laps, only to 1 caution, so 105 laps ran green. So a huge shout out to our series partners, Fiverr, Glytch, and Z-Grills, doing all their heavy lifting on each of the respective days. Glytch, of course, the presenting partner of the Speed Racing Network Glytch Truck Series, and use code SRN10 for 10% off of your Glytch purchases. Admin Box has been on your screen all day long, and of course they're the starting grid presenter. Make sure you use code SRN-box for 10% off of your Admin Box purchases. Butt Kicker, we didn't actually hear from them tonight, but we'll get you one message from Butt Kicker before we close out the broadcast at the end of the evening tonight. But of course, Butt Kicker is our commercial partner here at the Speed Racing Network Glytch Truck Series. EPI, of course, our Victory Lane presentation and select blinds. Well, they weren't busy tonight, but they do provide us our incident replays when they do get too busy working. And if you're watching on YouTube, guys, go ahead and scroll down. If you see that big red button, it says subscribe on it. Click on it and make it say subscribe. Help us out, reach our subscription goal here at the Speed Racing Network YouTube channel. And right next to that subscribe button is the join button, which is where our Speed Racing Network membership program lies. Of course, you can, for $4.99 a month, get access to loyalty badges, custom emojis, exclusive wallpapers and photos, early access to new content, member shoutouts, members only live chats, and priority reply to comments. To join, make sure you click that join button that's right next to that subscribe button on our YouTube page. For $4.99 a month, you can become a Speed Racing Network premium member. And what that'll do it for our partners. So shout out to all of our socials tonight, where you can keep up with all things Speed Racing Network. Our Facebook page at facebook.com/Speed Racing Network. Our X page at x.com/Speed Racing Net. Instagram at Speed Racing Network. Our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Speed Racing Network. Our Twitch tonight at twitch.tv/speedracingnet or LinkedIn at linkedin.com/company/speedracing network. And of course, the website where you can keep up with all things SRN with news and stats and points, schedules, and all that jazz. For whatever series you decide to follow, speedracingnetwork.com has got you covered. Well, Landon, any final thoughts before we leave Chi-Town tonight and part with these viewers for a week vacation before we head up to the Magic Mile?
Not really. I mean, you know, we got a week off next week, so hopefully everybody, all these drivers and throughout all the series can spend some time with some family. I know we got Labor Day coming up here on Monday, so that would be nice. Spend some time with the family, do a little barbecuing, you know, all that good stuff. So excited to be back in 2 weeks at, or I believe, yeah, 2 weeks at
New
Hampshire. Yeah, we love that track.
Fantastic track.
It's a very oddly shaped track, but from what we saw tonight and what we're probably going to see tomorrow and what we saw from last night, it's going to be a good one. Stay tuned.
It will be a good one. Well, guys, that'll do it then from Chi-Town. Thank you all for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. For all at Speed Racing Network, I was Emerson Arden with Landon Cardullo alongside. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night when the Z-Girl series keeps it going here from Joliet, or in 2 weeks' time from the Magic Mile in Loudoun, New Hampshire.